Imagine yourself lying on your back, somewhere quiet and comfortable. Perhaps it's a grassy hill, or maybe a blanket in your garden. It doesn't truly matter where, only that you can see the sky stretching out above you, endless and open. Notice how your body feels as it settles into this moment of pause. The weight of your limbs growing heavier against the earth, your breath finding its natural rhythm. Above you, clouds are slowly rolling across a pale sky. They move with unhurried grace, never rushing their journey from one horizon to the other. Watch them for a while. Their edges soft and blurred, their shapes constantly rearranging themselves, as if they're whispering secrets to the wind. These clouds have no deadlines to meet, no expectations to fulfill. They simply are, existing in perfect harmony with the currents that carry them. As your gaze follows their gentle passage, feel the tension in your mind beginning to loosen its hold. The clouds don't resist the wind that moves them. They surrender completely, transforming themselves moment by moment. Perhaps there's wisdom in their weightless voyage across the sky. What might it feel like to move through life with such acceptance? With each breath you take, imagine yourself becoming a little lighter, a little closer to that same effortless state of being. The pale sky holds everything without judgment, both the clouds that pass through and the vast, empty spaces between them. It accepts the brightness of midday and the dimming light of evening with equal welcome. There's room for all of it within that peaceful blue expanse. Just as there is room within you for all your thoughts and feelings, without needing to chase them or push them away. Notice how some clouds move faster than others, catching different air currents at different heights. Some appear denser, more substantial, while others are gossamer thin, barely visible against the pale backdrop. Like our thoughts, each one unique in its weight and momentum. You don't need to interact with every cloud that passes through your field of vision. You can simply observe them, acknowledge their presence, and let them continue on their way. The same gentle attention can be given to whatever arises in your mind. The slow rolling motion of the clouds creates a natural rhythm, a silent melody written across the sky. There's no hurry to this symphony, no crescendo demanding your attention. Only the steady, continuous flow of white against blue, of form against formless. As you watch, you might notice how the clouds cast subtle shadows on the landscape around you. These shadows travel just as the clouds do, touching everything briefly before moving on. Nothing in this scene holds on or clings to what has passed. The grass doesn't try to keep the shadow that cooled it. The shadow doesn't resist its own disappearing. Everything participates in this dance of constant, subtle change. Perhaps you're noticing how the clouds near the horizon look different from those directly overhead. Perspective changes everything. What appears small and distant from one vantage point becomes vast and all-encompassing from another. Our troubles often follow the same rule, looming large when we're in their midst, shrinking as we gain distance and perspective. The pale sky itself seems to change color as you continue watching. Not dramatically, but in the subtlest shifts of tone, a hint more lavender here, a touch of gold there, as light refracts through layers of atmosphere. These changes happen so gradually that you can't pinpoint exactly when one shade becomes another. Life shifts in this same imperceptible way sometimes, doesn't it? We evolve moment by moment rather than all at once. Some clouds might remind you of things, perhaps that one resembles a sailing ship, or another looks like a sleeping animal. Our minds naturally seek patterns, trying to make the formless familiar. There's joy in this kind of imagination, this playful noticing. It requires no effort, only openness. Even on this imagined day of cloud watching, you might notice birds occasionally crossing your field of vision, or perhaps an airplane drawing a straight line through the organic curves of the clouds. These momentary interruptions don't disturb the peaceful scene. They simply become part of it. Just as the unexpected thoughts that arise during moments of rest can be acknowledged and incorporated into your experience rather than fought against, the clouds continue their unhurried journey. Some might be dissolving even as you watch them, their edges becoming increasingly diffuse until they seem to melt into the surrounding sky. Others might be gathering substance, drawing moisture into themselves, becoming more defined. Creation and dissolution happening simultaneously in the same vast space. You've likely noticed how no two clouds are exactly alike, each one shaped by countless factors: air temperature, moisture content, wind direction, altitude. In their infinite variety, they mirror the uniqueness of our own experiences, each one shaped by circumstances, both seen and unseen. As time passes, your breathing has likely slowed to match the peaceful rhythm of this sky watching. Your thoughts may have become less urgent, more dreamlike. This is the gift of allowing yourself to be fully present with something as simple and profound as clouds drifting across a pale sky. Notice how the longer you watch, the more details you begin to perceive. Subtle variations in the thickness of each cloud. The way sunlight plays differently across their uneven surfaces. The barely perceptible shadows they cast upon each other when they overlap. Awareness deepens with patient attention. Sometimes a cloud might seem to hover motionless for a long while, and then suddenly its movement becomes apparent again. Our perception of time isn't always reliable. Moments of stillness can expand, while periods of activity compress. There's freedom in releasing our usual relationship with time, even if just for these few minutes of sky gazing. If you look long enough, you might notice how the entire sky scene is reflected in miniature within a dewdrop on a blade of grass beside you, or in a small puddle nearby. The macrocosm contained within the microcosm, everything connected, everything reflecting everything else in endless mirrors of relationship. The The clouds don't question their place in the world or worry about their purpose. They don't compare themselves to other clouds or fret about whether they're moving correctly. They simply express their true nature moment by moment, shaped by the conditions they encounter. What would it be like to move through your own life with such natural authenticity? Perhaps you've noticed that watching the clouds has quieted something inside you. The mental chatter that often fills our minds has softened, replaced by a more spacious awareness. This shift happens naturally when we give our full attention to something outside ourselves, especially something as peaceful as this slow dance across the sky. Even if thoughts arise about tasks waiting for you or conversations replaying in your mind, you can acknowledge them and then gently return your focus to the clouds. They continue their journey regardless of whether you're watching or not. There's something reassuring in their indifference, their steady presence beyond our human concerns. The light catching the edges of the clouds creates a silver lining effect on some of them, transforming what might otherwise be ordinary into something luminous and beautiful. Challenges in our lives sometimes offer the same opportunity, revealing unexpected gifts when viewed from a different angle, when caught in a particular light. You might be aware of sounds around you as you continue watching the sky, perhaps birds calling, leaves rustling, distant traffic. These sounds don't need to distract from your cloud watching. They can simply become part of the full sensory experience of this moment. The same way all of life's elements can coexist without competing for dominance. Notice how different clouds move at different speeds, creating a layered effect as they pass one another. Some barely seem to move at all, while others glide more quickly across your field of vision. This creates a natural depth to the scene, a reminder that even something as seemingly simple as the sky contains multiple dimensions, multiple stories unfolding simultaneously. If you watch long enough, you might see clouds being born, forming out of seemingly empty sky as water vapor condenses around tiny particles of dust. Creation happening before your eyes, requiring no effort or intervention, just the perfect conditions coming together in a particular moment. That's often how the best ideas come to us as well, not through force or striving, but through creating the conditions for inspiration to arise naturally. Some clouds might carry rain within them, their undersides darker and heavier with moisture. Even these potential storm clouds move with the same unhurried grace as their lighter counterparts. They aren't good or bad, just different expressions of the same essential nature, each playing their necessary role in the greater cycles of the world. As the clouds continue their passage, you might become aware of the vastness of the sky itself, how it extends in all directions beyond what you can see, curving around the entire planet. Your small patch of visible sky is connected to all skies everywhere. There's something humbling and comforting in that continuity, that belonging to something so much larger than ourselves. Perhaps you're noticing how watching the clouds has affected your breathing, how it's become deeper and more regular. Your body knows how to find harmony with what it observes. Without trying, you've synchronized with the peaceful rhythm of this natural movement across the sky. The clouds don't resist transformation. They're constantly changing shape, merging and separating, thinning and thickening. They demonstrate the fluid nature of existence. Nothing fixed, everything in process. Even the most solid-looking cloud is actually in continuous flux. Its appearance of stability, an illusion created by distance and perspective. Sometimes clouds pass in front of the sun, filtering its light into a softer glow. These moments of gentle illumination can be a relief from the intensity of direct sunlight. Similarly, the challenges that temporarily obscure our brightest moments can offer a different kind of beauty, a more subtle kind of seeing. Notice how your attention might naturally drift sometimes, pulled away by a thought or sensation, only to return again to the clouds. This rhythm of attention and distraction is perfectly natural. There's no need to judge yourself for these wanderings. Like the clouds themselves, your awareness moves according to its own nature, its own internal weather patterns. The edges where cloud meets sky create intricate boundaries, never perfectly straight, always in flux. These interfaces between elements remind us that borders in nature are rarely rigid lines, but rather zones of exchange and transformation. Our own boundaries work best when they have this same quality, clearly defined, yet permeable where appropriate. Some clouds might be tinged with color, perhaps the faintest blush of pink, or a hint of gold from the sun's position in the sky. These subtle variations enrich the scene, adding depth and interest to what might otherwise seem monochromatic. Life's quiet moments often contain these same nuances, visible only when we slow down enough to really look. If you've been cloud watching for some time now, you might notice how the entire scene has changed since you first began. Clouds that were once on the distant horizon have moved overhead, while others have disappeared entirely from view. Yet this transformation has been so gradual that no single moment of change could be identified. Life shifts in this same way. We are continuously becoming something new without noticing the process, until we pause to compare past and present. The slowness of the cloud's movement creates a natural meditation, drawing you into a state where time seems less linear and more expansive. This altered perception is a gift, a temporary release from the tyranny of schedules and deadlines that often govern our days. Your eyes might occasionally shift focus from the clouds themselves to the spaces between them, the patches of clear sky visible through the gaps. There's a beauty in these empty spaces too, these pauses in the visual symphony. Just as the silences between notes are essential to music, these open areas give definition and context to the clouds themselves. Some clouds might seem to be reaching toward each other, extending wispy tendrils that eventually connect. Others might be slowly pulling apart after having been joined. This continuous dance of connection and separation mirrors our own relationships, coming together, moving apart, finding new configurations of belonging and independence throughout our lives. The pale sky holds all of this movement without preference or judgment. It doesn't favor the densest clouds or the clearest patches. It simply provides the vast, open field where all of this endless transformation can play out. What would it be like to hold your own experiences with this same spacious acceptance? As you continue watching, you might become aware of the enormity of what you're witnessing: water vapor from oceans, lakes, and rivers, lifted into the atmosphere, traveling perhaps hundreds of miles, visible now as these ephemeral shapes overhead, each cloud a testament to the interconnectedness of Earth's systems, a visible manifestation of invisible processes. The clouds don't question their journey or purpose. They don't worry about whether they're heading in the right direction or moving at the proper speed. They simply allow themselves to be carried by forces larger than themselves, trusting in the natural order of things. Perhaps there's wisdom for us in their surrender. Notice how some clouds cast shadows upon other clouds below them, creating layers of light and darkness within the sky itself. These interactions create depth and dimension, turning what could be a flat scene into something richly textured. Our lives gain similar depth from the interplay of different experiences. The contrast between moments of clarity and confusion, joy and difficulty. If your mind has wandered to thoughts of work, relationships, or responsibilities, gently acknowledge these thoughts without judgment, and then return your attention to the clouds. They continue their unhurried journey regardless of our preoccupations. This is the practice, not to have no thoughts, but to notice them and then choose where to place our attention. The pale sky itself might contain subtle gradients of color, perhaps deeper blue overhead, fading to a softer hue near the horizon. These gentle transitions happen so gradually that they're easy to miss unless we're truly paying attention. Our emotional landscapes often shift in this same imperceptible way, one state flowing into another without clear boundaries. Some clouds might be catching the light in ways that make their edges glow, while their centers remain in shadow. These contrasts create a sense of dimension, revealing the substantial nature of what might otherwise appear flat or insubstantial. Similarly, our challenges often reveal unexpected depths within ourselves when illuminated from the right angle. The continuous motion of the clouds creates a natural sense of progression, of story unfolding without words. Beginning, middle, and end, all contained in this silent journey across the sky. No moral or message needed, just the simple truth of existence, expressing itself moment by moment. As you continue watching, you might become aware of the stillness of your own body, contrasted with the movement above you. This juxtaposition creates a unique perspective. You, temporarily motionless, witnessing motion. You, solid and grounded, observing what's ephemeral and weightless. This relationship between stability and change exists within us too. Some aspects of ourselves remain constant, while others are continuously evolving. The clouds don't strive to be clouds. They simply are what they are, naturally and without effort. Their beauty doesn't come from trying to be beautiful, but from fully embodying their own nature. What might shift in our lives if we approached our own existence with this same effortless authenticity? Perhaps you've noticed how watching the clouds has created a peculiar sense of timelessness. Minutes might have stretched into what feels like hours, or perhaps what seemed like an hour has actually been just moments. This elasticity of perceived time is one of the gifts of deep attention, a temporary stepping outside of clock-measured existence. Some clouds might be traveling so high that they appear completely stationary from your perspective. Only by noting their position relative to other clouds or landmarks can you detect their movement at all. Some truths in life reveal themselves this way too, not through obvious change, but through subtle shifts of relationship observed over time. The continuous movement of clouds across the sky is one of nature's oldest shows, one that has played to an audience of human watchers for as long as our species has existed. When you engage in cloud watching, you participate in an activity that connects you to countless others across time and space who have gazed upward with the same quiet wonder. Notice how the clouds don't apologize for changing shape or for disappearing altogether. They don't explain their transformations or justify their existence. They simply are creating, shifting, dissolving according to their nature. What would it feel like to approach your own life with this same radical self-acceptance? The pace of the cloud's movement creates a natural deceleration of your thoughts, a gentle downshifting from the usual speed of modern life to something closer to nature's own rhythm. This slowing down allows perceptions and insights that might otherwise be missed in the blur of normal activity. Some clouds might catch your attention more than others, perhaps one with a particularly interesting shape or unusual coloration. Your eye is naturally drawn to what stands out, what differs from the pattern. Yet each cloud, whether remarkable or ordinary, plays its equal part in the sky's continuous story. If your attention has drifted to sounds around you or sensations in your body, gently acknowledge these awarenesses before returning to the visual feast above. This fluid movement between different modes of perception enriches your experience, making it more complete, more embodied. You're not just seeing the clouds, but experiencing this moment in its fullness. The pale sky and its passing clouds create a perfect backdrop for daydreaming, for allowing your mind to wander without particular purpose or direction. This kind of unfocused thinking often leads to unexpected connections, creative insights that arise not from concentration, but from its opposite, a relaxed, associative state of mind. Some clouds might be stretched into long, thin strands by high-altitude winds, creating streaks of white against the pale blue. Others might be bunched and piled into towering formations. Each shape tells a story about unseen forces acting upon the visible world. Our lives take different forms under different influences, too, shaped by forces both recognized and unacknowledged. The temperature of the air around you might shift subtly as clouds pass overhead. Temporary moments of coolness alternating with warmth as sunlight is filtered, then revealed again. These small fluctuations are part of the full sensory experience of cloud watching, reminders that we perceive with our whole bodies, not just our eyes. As time passes, you might notice changes in the overall quality of light as the sun's position shifts in relation to both you and the clouds. These gradual transformations alter the entire scene without drawing attention to themselves, creating a constantly evolving visual experience that never steps twice in the same river of light. The cloud's unhurried pace offers a powerful contrast to the speed of modern life, to notifications, deadlines, traffic, and all the artificial accelerations we've created. Here, in this skywatching moment, natural time reasserts itself, inviting you to remember a different way of being in the world. Some clouds might be so thin they're almost transparent, allowing the blue sky to show through them like a watercolor wash. Others appear dense and substantial enough to walk upon, though we know they're equally insubstantial when encountered directly. Appearances and reality often have this complicated relationship, solid-seeming things proving vaporous when investigated. Notice how the entire sky scene is reflected in your eyes, literally contained within you, even as you are contained within the greater world it represents. Observer and observed interconnected, each influencing the other through the simple act of attention. Neither would be quite the same without this relationship of witnessing. The clouds don't compete for your attention or try to be more impressive than they are. They don't compare themselves to clouds that passed before or worry about clouds that will come after. They exist fully in their present expression, embodying a kind of natural mindfulness we can learn from. If you've been watching long enough, you might have seen clouds being born from seemingly clear sky, growing from tiny wisps into more substantial forms. And perhaps you've seen others dissolve completely, fading back into invisible vapor. These continuous cycles of appearance and disappearance happen without drama or resistance. The longer you watch the clouds, the more you might notice how your breathing has synchronized with their movement, how your thoughts have taken on something of their unhurried quality. This unconscious attunement happens naturally when we give sustained attention to something moving at nature's pace, rather than our usual hurried rhythms. Some clouds might be moving so slowly that you need to look away, and then back again to confirm they've changed position at all. This kind of subtle movement requires a special quality of attention, a willingness to notice what doesn't announce itself loudly. Many of life's most significant shifts happen with this same gentle stealth. The vast expanse of sky reminds us of our own inner spaciousness, the awareness that contains all our thoughts and feelings without being limited by any of them. Just as the sky is not defined or diminished by the clouds passing through it, your essential nature remains undiminished by temporary states of mind. Notice how clouds at different altitudes move in different directions sometimes, responding to various air currents invisible to the eye. What seems like confused motion from our limited perspective actually reflects complex but ordered systems beyond our immediate perception. Life's apparent contradictions often have this same hidden coherence. As the clouds continue their journey, you might become aware of a deepening sense of peace, a quieting of the internal dialogue that often fills your mind. This isn't something you've tried to make happen. It's simply the natural effect of sustained, gentle attention on something as undemanding as clouds passing across a pale sky. If thoughts arise about needing to end this time of cloud watching, about responsibilities waiting for you, simply notice these thoughts without immediately acting on them. There will be time enough for doing. This is a time for being, for remembering a different way of relating to the world around you. The clouds have been making this same journey long before humans existed to witness them, and they'll continue long after we're gone. There's something humbling and comforting in participating briefly in this ancient, ongoing movement that belongs to a time frame much vaster than our individual lives. Notice how your perception of the clouds has evolved during this time of watching. Details you didn't see initially have likely revealed themselves. Patterns and relationships have emerged that weren't immediately apparent. This deepening of perception happens whenever we give sustained, gentle attention to anything, whether a natural scene, a piece of art, or another person. As your cloud watching time begins to draw toward its close, take a moment to appreciate the unique and unrepeatable sky show you've witnessed. No one else has seen exactly what you've seen, from exactly your perspective, at exactly this moment in time. This experience is uniquely yours, a gift that needed only your attention to receive it. Before you shift your position or turn your gaze away from the sky, notice how your body feels after this period of restful attention. Perhaps there's a sense of renewed energy, or maybe a pleasant heaviness, a readiness for sleep. Your nervous system has had time to reset from its usual state of alertness to something more balanced, more attuned to natural rhythms. The clouds will continue their journey whether you're watching or not. They don't perform for an audience, they simply express their nature. This natural, unself-conscious existence surrounds us always, available whenever we choose to align our attention with it, rather than with artificial urgencies. As you prepare to carry this cloud-watching experience forward into whatever awaits you next. Know that you can return to this state of peaceful attention anytime. The sky and its ever-changing panorama remain available, a constant invitation to pause, look up, and remember your place in the larger world. The memory of these clouds rolling slowly across a pale sky can become a touchstone, a mental image you can return to even when you're indoors or unable to look upward. The peace of this experience doesn't need to end when the actual cloud watching does. It can continue to influence how you move through the hours and days ahead, a gentle reminder of another way of being, unhurried, attentive, at ease with constant change. And now, as this reflection draws to close, imagine taking one last long look at that pale sky with its slowly rolling clouds. Breathe in the spaciousness, the acceptance, the natural rhythm of this scene. Let it fill you completely for a moment. And as you exhale, know that you carry this sky within you always, this same vast acceptance, this same capacity for peaceful change. The sky inside you is just as real as the one above, and its weather systems just as worthy of your gentle, curious attention. Wherever you go from here, whatever skies await you, stormy or clear, dawn-lit or twilight-shadowed, may you move with something of the clouds' grace, something of their trust in the currents that carry them, something of their complete acceptance of their own true nature. And may you remember, whenever you need to pause and look up, returning to this simplest of pleasures, clouds slowly rolling across a pale sky, continuing their ancient journey, inviting you to witness their unhurried dance for as long as you choose to watch.